and I have a renewed sense of vitality.
I'll tell
And
you.
you know what? It all started with the 21-day decluttering program. Why is that, you say? Because you know what? If this is what we teach, this is our field of expertise, our field of genius. Why would we get so excited about that? And it's because, first of all, we have to do a lot of planning and, there's a lot of moving parts,
Yes.
right? To put it all together. So then that's in our awareness, right? We've brought that information into our frequency, into our information field. So then our conscious awareness is elevated. And then we had our first empowerment coaching call on Tuesday, and we got to meet some of the participants. And then again, what happens is that we have now committed, right? Made a commitment to that group that we're going to support them. And then in doing so, Cheryl and I have, again, a greater awareness of our own environments, looking through our feng shui eyes, our energetic eyes, seeing what is being reflected in our own home environment that we too can shift. So here we are, Friday. We started Tuesday, but in preparation for Tuesday, I'm going to say Cheryl and I have already been on the 21-day decluttering program for over a week. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, easily.
And holy shift, right? Holy shift. We have been doing, because we always walk alongside the participants. So we've already been doing things in our own home environment, and we have had some holy shift moments.
Yes, we have.
So how cool is that?
It's been fun. So, and that explains why we wear these glasses.
Yeah.
Because as Nita said, we're looking at our environment through energetic eyes, and that's how we really want you to look at your environment. And I have to tell you, so I did that video last week that is on this page. It's on our group, and I think it's been shared out in a few locations, talking about what was in my office, and that energy doesn't hide, right? And I had the picture of the canvas that I had done and my basket of paints that I hadn't touched in over a year. So that was on Wednesday or Thursday. Saturday, I get an email from the lady I did my art class with saying on Sunday, she was having a free afternoon of painting together.
I love it.
That's
and again,
fast.
Right. And that's what happens, because it's like where our attention goes, that's where energy flows. So we've not only made a commitment to ourselves, to our group, but we've also done a big shout out to the universe and said, hey, this is what we're doing. I need some support here. And when, we start to shift and change that energy and move the dust around and do all of that, then those things that we've been seeking or that have been seeking us, we've cleared a pathway for them to energetically arrive with ease and grace.
Exactly. Right? And I want to add to that story. So I was having coffee yesterday afternoon with a friend of mine, and we get together once or twice a year. She's usually a busy lady. Anyway, she had seen that video about clutter not hiding. Now, she sold her house. She downsized drastically. It has for, I think over a year now, been living in the executive suites, right? So it's like a hotel room. So literally, she doesn't have any clutter around her. And that video impacted her when we talked about cell phones and the clutter on the cell phones. And she's like, valid. And went in and started looking at her contacts. And what was she ready to let go of? Who was no longer serving purpose in her life and going forward. She said it was very liberating to release contacts. I thought we had such a fascinating conversation about that because she understands everything is energy.
Everything is energy. And again, it's that where our eye goes, energy flows, where energy flows, our attention goes, but more importantly, our intention, right? I want to say a shout out to Kate in Texas.
Kate.
Oh, beautiful lady. And thank you. Kate aligned us with an amazing person that we did a podcast recording. We did a podcast discovery call, we're going to call it.
Yeah.
And we are going to be doing a live podcast with her, and it's called Raise the Vibe Initiative. So we'll be sharing some links for that. So thank you, Kate, for connecting us to Wendy.
Exactly.
She's beautiful. We had some great fun and laughter, and we're looking forward to that. I think we are going live on Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll put the links and all that.
Yeah. So anyway, back to today, because it's been interesting, as you mentioned. We typically come up with the topic, and we've already been off on a tangent on several different topics, the decluttering, and really it starts at home. It starts in our inner and our outer environments because they're a reflection, constant reflection. And we get our topic from Terah Kathryn Collins, Personal Paradise Feng Shui deck, which is cool. And before Anita and I came live online, 2 cards flew out simultaneously. Okay, those 2. And I thought, I'm just going to keep shuffling. I had the impulse to bring out a 3rd card. Interesting combination because of some of the conversations we've had in our private Facebook group with the 21-day decluttering people. Okay, and Anita will get what I mean. So the first 2 cards that flew out, these are their pictures. Kitchen, number 23, the kitchen card, and number 25, getting organized.
Oh, my.
Right? So I'm just going to, Anita can see these counter surfaces.
Yes.
Countertops, right?
Yes.
Now, here's the other interesting part, and this will really pay attention to someone who is joining us. We're not going to mention names. So this is the card. Reminds me of that home we did this fall, by the way, the bathroom. But it's number 3, color.
Color. Oh,
and the impact on color. So we've got kitchen, getting organized, and color. And I love the kitchen because one of the things I'm working on this 21 day, one of the 7, I committed to 7. Was I nuts?
Yeah, I committed to 1.
Oh, well.
I did.
Anyway,
I did 1. Yeah.
One of them is the fridge. So mine aren't big areas, so maybe that's why I went with 7. But I look at a couple of them and go, whoa, okay, we may not get them completed, but we'll get on them.
Yeah.
And one of them was the fridge in the kitchen because we get busy and we get groceries, stuff goes in, stuff goes out, stuff gets pushed to the back. Stuff gets ignored, stuff gets neglected.
Yep.
And very quickly, dates expire. Really, really, really expire. And you had that experience recently too.
I did. Yeah. I was helping my 87-year-old mother. I went to her home and interestingly, Cheryl, it was her countertops and her fridge. And I spent 2 hours cleaning, organizing, decluttering. But in her defense, I mean, she is 87 years old. She has a vision impairment. So, in her defense. However, I mean, holy Hannah, there were growing things in her fridge at the way back that I was like, oh, Mom. Anyways, we got her cleaned up. We got her cleaned up and organized.
And really what you said, in 2 hours, you got a lot done.
Yeah, I did.
Right. So when we get at it, it doesn't take long. It's that psychology. And I found for myself, I will just have an impulse to do something. Right. I can be doing dishes, and then the next thing I know, the oven's open and I'm cleaning the oven or the microwave,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. It just kind of flows into the day. So
Yeah.
you can be open to that. You don't need to build up all of this angst and overwhelm and stuff because you got to get at it. Let the opportunity just flow into you.
Right.
And getting organized. I mean, as I mentioned in that video, I can organize clutter. 100% we can organize clutter.
100%. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
including
And you know what? I'm happy to say, so Cheryl and I actually met yesterday. We had to do some stuff for a few, and so I actually, two things yesterday. I dropped off some items for donation, a bag. It wasn't a huge bag, but it was a bag. And I actually, my son had some stuff in my garage that he wanted to sell. I posted it on buy and sell. I ended up, meeting and selling that. So that felt so good, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. And there's many, many ways to get organized, but we always start with, do I love it? That's always a first question. Do I love it? Do I need it? Does it support who I am now? Does it support me where I want to be? And I think in talking like about the contacts on her cell phone yesterday, they weren't supporting her anymore. So it had nothing to do with the physical items, but it had to do with the items in her phone, right? So are they supporting you? It's the same with the pictures. And I know you're working on pictures, but I can tell you're also replying to somebody on Facebook. So did we have a question?
Yeah, no, I'm actually I'm just typing a thing in the chat. I'm just wondering, with those people that have joined us, and of course the ones that are going to listen to the replay, just with us talking right now, I'm sure there has been something that has come into your own awareness, right? That maybe made you go, or there was some kind of tension in your body about getting organized. So I'd like to know what it is for you. Did you have some of that? What area that you want to get organized in?
Yeah. And even if you're not part of the 21-day decluttering program, I don't care who you are. I mean, if my friend who's living in an executive suite that owns like her clothes still finds things that she can let go of, right? Anybody watching this can find things that are no longer serving them. So I'd be curious also in the chat to pop in something, because something's going to come to your awareness. It's interesting because as I was getting ready for this morning, I have the boxes, you saw that in the video last week, that I look across from, and one of them is labeled magnets. Now I have magnets because I put things up, but also in that box are, because I used to do my vision board on my the desk that I had, the whole background of it, I had a metal piece in there so that I could just stick them up. Those are old goals, and yet I'm still hanging on to them. So how about the fact that those goals are in my vortex already? They've either accomplished or they're irrelevant. Why don't I just let go of them? Because they're in a pretty box that's labeled doesn't mean they're serving me. Right? Right.
So Elke is joining us also from the USA. Thanks for joining us, Elke. And she commented everything. Sharon says she's taking the 21-day decluttering program right now, and she's getting major ahas about deeper issues in her life. Yay, Sharon.
Good for you, Sharon.
And yeah, we're not even a week in, hey? Yeah. And you know what I have to say, Sharon, we so appreciate you for your participation, for what you bring to the table, your experiences, because it definitely helps everybody. And this is the third time Sharon has been through this program. And you know what, I also want to say that there still is I mean, if somebody still wanted to join us, just reach out and private message Cheryl or I will send you a link, because we could still, we could still add you to the group, right? Anyways, if that is something of interest, send us a private message and we'll figure that out.
And here's why. And I think one of the reasons why Sharon's doing it again is because A, of the results she got the other 2 times, but B, it is so much more impactful to go deeper, to have a commitment and accountability and do this with other people. So you know you're going to come up against some emotions, and that's where our private Facebook group is great. We can have a conversation in there. We can bounce ideas off of each other. It's very cool. But back to our topics at hand.
Yes.
Getting organized, kitchen, and color. Which one do you want to start with? Well, we already kind of chatted about the kitchen.
Yeah.
Topic's been about getting organized.
Yeah, the kitchen, those countertops can be a real nemesis. And I think one thing that came up for one of our 21-day participants, actually, she shared with us her kitchen countertops. And I think the reason that the countertops get, bombarded with stuff is because A, we have too much stuff, and B, the cupboards, the designated spaces or areas to put the stuff in the kitchen, the cupboards are full. Yeah. Right. And so then everything ends up on the counter because there's no spaces where they were supposed to go in the first place.
Or there isn't a designated place for those items to go.
Yeah.
So the other thing that came to me about that is, so whose belief is it that those countertops have to be clean and spick and span every night? Is that something we were brought up with? And is it serving you? Can you give yourself a little bit of grace that you got an active household? It's not going to look, let me just get this one. It's not going to look perfectly clean 24/7 unless somebody's not living there.
Yeah.
So a little bit of grace for yourself is not a bad thing to give, but really look at, well, why is it so important that this has to be spotless and spick and span every day, every night? Maybe it's for health reasons, and that's a good thing, but become aware of why the importance is there. I think is a huge lesson in this one. Okay, let's talk about color and the importance of color.
Yeah, color.
How do you react to certain colors?
Yeah, color. I mean, just look at the color behind you, right? Look at all of those beautiful, vibrant flowers and, your glasses, where I'm a little bit more muted today, right? But, I'm kind of animated, so I get the little bit of color maybe that way
too.
But yeah, how important is color? Again, there's this, and I'll have to look for the, a specific link or information on what happens in the energetics of the brain when we look through our eyes, with reticular cognition things, things start to fire and happen. And so we respond to color, of course, unless you're colorblind, in certain ways. It can lift our energy up, or it can make us feel calm. It can make us feel relaxed.
It can make us feel cold. It can make us feel hot.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things is, and my favorite color is red. Favorite color, hands down, but I would never paint all the walls in one room red. Ever. Because that's overwhelming. So you can have a favorite color. You're right. This is fun. It's active. It's lively. And it's a splash.
Mm-hmm.
Notice my walls are very neutral.
Right.
If the whole room was just the red, the purple, the orange, the green, I would not spend any time in here because it would be too much.
Right.
It would be too much. So
well, and it's that repeated action over time equals results, right? I saw a post recently. One of my son's friends, they had just had a new baby, bought a new house, renovated, and she was showing all the before and after pictures. And the baby's room, they painted the wall that color red, Cheryl. And I was like, oh my word. Because red, especially, is a fire, right? It's a fire color. And so it's active energy. It's like, think about how the fire reacts, and it's flitting here and there, and it's burning up the energy, and it's
all consuming
all the oxygen out of and I mean, that child, right? That child is going to be affected by the color of that wall in a very not so good way.
Strong way, a very strong way.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that was, you know what? My heart actually just sank when I saw that. And I don't know that I know her well enough to, anyways.
Broach the subject. So
yeah.
Because you set Terah's feng shui card deck down in your, so I want you to just take that box out of there for a second.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do you see the impact of that little bit of color? So now place it back. Huge difference. So that's what we mean by using color a little bit. Because it can shift the energy. We talk a lot about 5-element theory, and of course in there elements are depicted with different colors, and we like that balance. That's what we're trying to achieve, is the balance, the harmony, so that our autonomic nervous system can actually be comfortable, safe, and that aesthetically pleasing. So those 3 pillars that we like to work with in feng shui. So part of creating your sacred space, and you see the words right behind Anita there, creating sacred space, is creating that harmony, that balance. Do you want to add more about color there, young lady?
Well, I'm just reading one of the comments here, and my favorite room color is apricot orange, and I felt the happiest in such a room. I absolutely feel good in it. It's in my office. I know all the science, but in my experience, this worked for me. Why? And you know what? Apricot orange, that could be a vibrant, bright color, and it could be, just your own nervous system that you need that extra boost of energy, right? And you might find that over time, as you start to elevate your own personal frequency, that when you start to shift the energy in your home, and then it starts to reflect back on your inner world, that maybe some of those colors or things that served you in the past now might make you feel differently. So we always go back to the result. What's the result? How do you feel? That's so, so important. How do you feel in this space? And, I love that you made me do that with a card, Cheryl, because we can do that really, really easily in a bedroom, in the living room, in
the
the
baby's room,
any room in the home where maybe you don't like to spend time in and you don't know why. And quite often it's because one of those 5 elements is out of balance, and, injecting a little bit of color, a little bit of vibrant energy with, a pillow, with a throw blanket, with a plant, gets you to say, oh yeah, that makes me feel good, or no, I don't like that. And so you can just play house for a little while and just kind of start moving things around and just to see what is resonating with you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing along that is the results that are showing up for you. Right. So if I spent an exorbitant amount of time in a red small room, this is a bathroom, so I don't know that based on the images that I'm seeing, this is not a small space, or this is not a large space. It looks
Right.
small to me.
Yeah.
So if I was surrounded by that red color for an hour a day, I don't even think I could be in there for an hour. Perfectly honest, right?
No.
So the results, when you walk into a space, you might go, oh, well, that's kind of fun. That's kind of cool. And then you leave the space. But what are the results when you've spent time, day in, day out in that space, surrounded by that color? So if I was surrounded by gray 24/7, I would have my energy level would be very low. Yeah. So even though my walls are neutral and people go, oh, tan, it's neutral, I can change up the feeling in here simply by changing those pictures.
Yep. So quickly. Right. Good morning, Matthew. Want to say shout out to Matthew joining us as well.
Good morning. Yeah. So anything else in the chat? Thank you.
I just want to say, thanks for all the comments and joining us. And, of course, we're getting to the top of the hour. So I'm going to let you tally up the numbers and we'll talk about numerology.
Okay. So we got a 5 and a 7 and a 3. That's 10, and a 5 is 15. We got a 6. Ooh, pregnant with possibilities.
Pregnant with possibilities. I love it. Love it. And I just want to say that our 100th episode is coming soon. Woo-hoo. And we had, put out a little challenge there. And I know some of you have already gained more than one ballot. So we just are asking if you want to share out any of our Feng Shui Friday videos. If you want to tag somebody, if you want to invite somebody to our group. We're going to see that, and then we're going to put a ballot with your name. And then on our 100th episode day, which is going to be really exciting, we're going to gift somebody with Cheryl.
Well, I was doing the drum roll.
Oh,
can you hear the drum roll? Bam! The symbol. Crash. A virtual consultation with us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's going to be so much fun. And you know what? I love how you and I coordinated again today. I got the cat eye glasses. Cheryl's got the cat eye
shirt.
We are, we never planned this ahead.
Nope.
And here we are coordinated again because we are in the field, right? We're connected.
We are in alignment. We are all in alignment.
Woohoo.